Today's review is sponsored by Shopping Cart Shackles. They latch around your wrists and they don't come off until you put your shopping cart back. Seriously, people, put your damn shopping carts away.
Watch it, Alan, I'm shooting.
Humanoids from the deep.
Fury.
Let's start this review off with a bang. Thank you. Humanoids from the Deep is one of my favorite movies produced by Roger Corman and New World Pictures. This is an exploitation B-movie that's not afraid to be an exploitation B-movie. We've got violence, sex, nudity, and a bunch of horny fishmen running around killing people. The movie takes place in the small fishing town of Noyo. This is your typical fishing town. Their entire economy depends on fishing. But the salmon population has been dropping because people have been fishing too much. Luckily, a new canning company is planning on building a new factory in town, and they've hired this group of scientists who have created this genetically altered species of fish, and they've released them into the wild. The idea here is that other fish will eat this new species of genetically altered fish, and thus they will grow bigger. But this is a B-movie, so things go horribly, horribly wrong. This experiment creates this group of mutant fishmen who are here to kill and mate. They go around ripping men apart and trying to mate with human women. Yeah. So, yes, let's address the elephant in the room. How's it going? This is a movie about fish people who go around killing people and assault women. They want to mate with human women. So I've stated my stance on this quite a few times whenever I deal with this subject matter in movies. When it comes to rape in films, there's a right way to do it, there's a wrong way to do it, and then there are the movies that do it just for shock value, which can go either way. Now, Humanoids from the Deep is a movie that uses this premise for shock value, but I do think it handles it right.
Who is it?
My God, it's Peggy.
John Waters said it best: when it comes to making movies that are in bad taste, there's a difference between good bad taste and bad bad taste. I think Humanoids from the Deep is an example of good bad taste. Yes, there is a fair amount of nudity in this flick, but that's not a problem. I'm never bothered by nudity in a movie. And the subject matter is so ridiculous that you can't really take it seriously.
Why the girls?
It's my theory that these creatures are driven to mate with man now, in order to further develop their incredible evolution.
It's enough to scare the hell out of me.
So we have this plot where these mutant fish people are killing people and forcing themselves onto people. I'm trying to be delicate here because YouTube. So there are only two scenes that really focus on that side of this movie, and I do think they're handled right. It is just done for shock value, but I do think they handle it in the right way. These scenes are filmed in a way so that it's clearly meant to be scary. The women in these situations are clearly horrified, and it's clearly portrayed that they are going through a horrifying ordeal. It's not showing it in some kind of positive light. It's saying, yes, this is a horrifying thing that's happening. Plus, the moments where the fish people leap onto the women and the act begins, it doesn't focus on it for too long. It quickly cuts away. The woman is on the ground, the fish person jumps on top of them, there's a little bit of a struggle, and then it cuts away. It doesn't really focus on the assault too much. It more focuses on the horror happening around the assault. So yes, I do think Humanoids from the Deep handles this in the right way. The rape in this film is done in a more suggested way. Still, I understand that there are plenty of people out there who are sensitive to this subject matter, and I get it. These kinds of movies are not for everybody. So, when it comes to Humanoids from the Deep, if you are sensitive to this kind of subject matter, and you're still curious to watch Humanoids from the Deep, I would suggest doing a little research first before diving into this film. It's important to mention that Humanoids from the Deep was directed by a woman, Barbara Peeters, but that needs a little context. Roger Corman hired Barbara Peeters to make an exploitation horror movie, and what she made wasn't really an exploitation horror movie, or at least not a Roger Corman exploitation horror movie. So Roger Corman hired a second unit director to film more scenes, and then when they edited the movie together, they made it into a Roger Corman exploitation flick. The thing is, they neglected to tell the actors and the director what they were doing. So when they went to the premiere of this movie, Barbara Peeters was expecting to see the movie that she made, and what she saw was not the movie she made. Naturally, her and a lot of the actors were pissed off. I love Humanoids from the Deep. I think it's a fun, well-made, and scary B-movie, but I do understand why Barbara Peeters was pissed off. You shot a movie, you dedicated your time and effort into making a movie, and then the producers take that and turn it all around so that it's no longer the movie you made. That can be frustrating, especially when you put so much time into something. But at the same time, Roger Corman did hire her to make an exploitation movie, and at this point, Roger Corman had developed enough of a reputation so that people would know what kind of movies he's making, and she didn't make that kind of movie. But I still have a lot of sympathy for her. The whole situation is just messy. Despite the behind-the-scenes issues, this is a fun B-movie. Most of the movies released by New World Pictures were entertaining, efficient movies. And I say efficient because these were low-budget pictures, but every penny, every resource was put into giving you an entertaining B-movie. When Roger Corman produced a movie, it was usually on the shorter side, especially when compared to today, usually between 80 and 90 minutes. Two reasons for this. One, because film was expensive, so they could not afford a lot of it. They had to use their money somewhere else. And the second reason is because Roger Corman wanted to make these entertaining movies that were well-paced. You went into the movie, you had a good time, and you weren't in it for long. The humanoids look great. I love the designs of these things. They're both familiar and unique. We've seen plenty of fishmen, whether in the horror genre, the fantasy genre, the sci-fi genre, but the fishmen in this movie, they do have their familiar elements to them, but there's enough changes to the design to make them unique.
There's your evidence.
You're not.
We have the familiar elements, the scaly bodies, the webbed hands, but we have also the little differences here and there. These creatures have a tail. Their body doesn't look completely like the body of other fishmen. Their arms are a little on the longer side, and they have these big bulging brains sticking out of their heads. Now, this being a low-budget movie, the filmmakers had to work around the budget restraints. There's this fantastic climax when the fish people attack the salmon festival. You have people having a good time, riding on rides, listening to music, playing games, listening to the DJ that's there talking about the events, and then the fishmen attack and all hell breaks loose. You have people getting killed, you have nudity, you have blood, you have some fantastic gore effects here. The thing is, the movie only had enough money for 3 monster costumes, so they had to film this big, chaotic scene and make it look like there's this army of fishmen attacking the townsfolk with only three monster costumes. And they did a good job here. Through camera work and editing, they made it seem like there was indeed an army of fishmen. You would have no idea that there were only 3 of these things. Hey, I got the right number that time. These tricks were also used by James Cameron when making Aliens. In that movie, he had to make it seem like there was this army of xenomorphs going after our main characters, but he only had enough money for 12 alien costumes. So, through clever editing and camera work, he made it seem like there was an army of xenomorphs. I bring this up because James Cameron got his start by working for Roger Corman. He did the set design for Galaxy of Terror. I have absolutely no proof of this, but I wonder if he learned some budget and filmmaking tricks by working for Roger Corman. One of the standout scenes in this flick is the ventriloquist seduction scene. You have this man and a woman in a tent, the woman's getting undressed, and the guy is using his ventriloquist dummy for foreplay.
Hey honey, wanna see my woodpecker?
Will I get splinters?
This part was played by an actual ventriloquist, David Strassman, and his dummy Chuck Wood. The woman's getting undressed, the guy's using his ventriloquist dummy to get his girlfriend hot and bothered, then the humanoids attack. They rip through the tent, they kill the boyfriend, and then the woman escapes through the tent. Now, inside the tent, she's played by a brunette. Outside of the tent, she's played by a redhead with a bigger breast size. Humanoids from the Deep is a perfect example of an exploitation B-movie. Not everybody is going to like the subject matter, and I completely understand that. I get it. But if you can get past that, you're in for a fun, bloody, sleazy time. Humanoids from the Deep is an example of good bad taste. And with that, let's get to the Grindhouse rankings. We've got a body count of 17, maybe? A lot of people die in this flick. I tried counting the humanoids too, but I stopped after losing count too many times. The kills consist of, but are not limited to, heads being ripped off, faces being scratched off, getting pulled underwater, and good old-fashioned explosions. The nudity is high in this one. Plenty of female breasts and some full frontal shots. Some people may be bothered by the subject matter, but that's okay. These kinds of movies are not for everybody. I love the creature design. It's familiar and different at the same time. The characters are also great. We've got people to root for and people to root against. A good blend. I like the setting too. I grew up in a fishing town, and this feels like a fishing town. And the movie has a good pacing. I love to praise good pacing. I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5. This is a fun horror movie that's not for everybody. If you like good bad taste, check it out. As always, I want to thank all of you for continuing to watch and support this channel. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know some of your favorite Roger Corman produced movies. This is the Maniac, here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die. Since we began this review with a bang, let's end it with a bang. Not exactly what I wanted, but hey, I'll take it.